This is for Thea. Momento, mori. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Thea. Well, I'm not really here at all. This is a YouTube, and if you're listening to it, who knows where I will be. But when I made this recording, it's too bad there's no video because it's really quite beautiful where I am. Just over the edge of the roof of my house, you can see the moon. It's a waning crescent. It's rising higher into the sky. There are fuzzy white clouds blowing across the face of the moon. The wind is blowing from the south. Through the clouds, you can see these patches of outer space. A few clouds, many clouds. I guess I'm going to do this unedited and see what happens. What I meant to say is there's a few stars. If I look to the south, I can see Orion. The belt is just being covered now by a cloud. I wish you could see it. Over there are the trees. They've just lost most of their leaves. It's still warm this evening, but the cold winter is coming. Anyway, you can't see any of this. Not because you aren't here. Well, actually, that is the reason you can't see any of it. But by the time you hear this, all of this will be gone. The reason I am talking to you at all is because of this friend of mine. Her name is Thea. Well, we'll call her that. That's not really her name. Well, okay, it really is her name, but that's not important. She's a little girl. Actually, she's like 16, but she's like maybe 97. Her real age isn't important. But she's younger than I am. I'm losing my train of thought in this thing. It would help if I was going to edit this, but, the reason I'm here is because of Unus Annas. And if it weren't for Thea, I wouldn't know anything about Unus Annas. It was this project that they did. The idea they had was that they would make videos, one every day, or they would post one every day for a year, and at the end of the year they would delete it all. Well, okay, I'm still here, or not here. Anyway, I listen to some of their podcasts, or I watch them. I think the ones I liked the best when they were just talking to each other. Mark and Ethen. I liked what they had to say and the thoughtfulness and the humor. The idea that everything ends. Momento, mori. Remember death. The show wasn't really about death after all. It was about death. But it was also about making the most of everything, making every second count, because it's all going to end. I really won't be here, or anywhere. Perhaps, I'm not going to think about that right now, because I want to tell you about Unus Annas. These two guys, Mark and Ethen, they made a bunch of really stupid videos. And sometimes they made me laugh. There was this one where it was about slapping a chicken. The idea was if you slapped it enough times, the heat that you generated by the force of your hand hitting the chicken would cook the chicken. And so there they were, slapping a chicken. And then they tried all sorts of things. It was like if you dropped it from a roof, when it hit the ground at a certain speed, it would create a little bit of energy, and it was dumb. But I laughed. I can't help but being distracted by the sound of the wind and the trees and the chimes behind me. Well, now they're in front of me because I'm turning around. I hope this isn't boring you. Well, it doesn't matter. You don't have to listen to this. I didn't have to say it. But where was I? I need to come back to the point of what I was trying to say. These were the things that Unus Annas, Mark and Ethen, were talking about this one time. They were getting close to the end of the year, and they were thinking about the last show. It would be live streamed, and at the end, they would delete all of the videos. I suppose I should do the same thing with this one. But if I put my time and effort into it, and just to let it go, for it to be gone forever, as if I had never made it. But see, that's not true. As Ethen and Mark were sitting there at the edge of a hot tub, their feet in the tingling, warming water, talking to each other, they talked about making memories. So maybe those will last a little bit after this is all over. At the end of it, or in the middle, I guess, of their talking, I guess it was Mark that said some things that I really liked. They were talking about the year, and he was asking the question, and he was talking to all the people that listened, watched their videos. He said something like this. He said, "What have you learned in this year? What have you made this year? What have you discovered about yourself?" I think about that sometimes. Who am I? Why am I here? Well, like I said, I'm not really here, and I won't be. And you're not here with me. You're listening to the sound of my voice, but oh look, it's the moon. She's there in the sky. She's really quite beautiful, you know. A waning crescent. If you think of it, the edge, the curled circle that you can see, a sharp line, because the moon, after all, is a sphere. But the sun is shining from it from well below the horizon, and so there's kind of a shadowy edge. Just seeing the crescent and a few clouds scudding across the face of the moon. The sky is not black after all, it's kind of a velvety blue black. It's really quite beautiful. And now there are fewer clouds than when I started. Did I tell you about Orion? It's a winter constellation. It's the hunter. There's 3 stars that make a belt, and 3 stars going down for a sword, and 4 stars at each corner, the arms. Beetle and Rigel and Betelgeuse are 2 of the names of the stars, but I don't know which is which. If you look at the pictures in books, it's like a figure of a hunter holding a rabbit. And down a little farther below, there's what they call the dog star, Sirius. It's a bright star. You hear all the noises? I don't know how well this records. Anyway, I lose my train of thought. I think that's where Ethen and Mark had an advantage. They edited their things and they cut out some of the dull parts where I'm just meandering around, not getting my thoughts out right. I guess I should finish this off because I don't know if you'll listen to it. Of course, that's kind of weird because if you're not hearing this, then you listen to it. Can you hear the chimes? That's the wind moving those tubes against this wooden piece that makes them ring. And it keeps on ringing long after the chimes have struck the wooden piece. It's very beautiful. It's very random because it's just the wind and, well, and now it's not chiming. But I can hear it. Oh, can you hear that? Oh, now that's the chimes here. But before, there were some higher sounding chimes across the fence in my neighbor's yard. So random. Anyway, I said I was going to finish this, and there is an end coming, even to this. I'm going to walk over to where Thea and I buried Toad. It was one afternoon. We were just hanging out. We'd been doing some painting, and I was finishing up washing out a brush. Oh, my lips are getting dry. I need to get a drink of water. I'm sorry for all these interruptions. Love water. It quenches my thirst. Oh, excuse me. It's too bad this is live. Or maybe it's not. Let me go back to my story. I was finishing cleaning out the brush, and Thea was sitting by the pond right here where I'm standing. She was looking down into the water, and she saw something, and she said I should come over and look at it. And it looked like a toad, and it was down in the water, and well, I reached in my hand and picked it up, and it was a toad. It looked like it was dead. This is about death after all. Unus Annas. Momento, mori. I picked it up, and it looked like a toad. It felt like a toad. It was wet. Had that warty skin. Thea touched it, and then she held it for a little bit. And of course we needed to bury it. We couldn't just let it die for no reason. But there is no reason, is there? Anyway, we took the toad over. I'll walk over there. We took the toad over to the place where my first cat was buried. Our first cat, Dawn's my wife. That was a long time ago already. But over here by the fence, there's some grass and some fennel growing here now, and there's a stone somewhere down here that marks the place where Oshka, our first cat, was buried a long time ago. I dug a hole with a shovel, and we put the toad in the hole, and I covered it up, and then we walked around the yard, and Thea cut some flowers to make a bouquet. And we came back, and we laid down on the ground at the spot where the toad had been buried. Everything comes to an end. One day it'll be me in the ground. And Thea too. Many years later. The question will be, did we make the most of every second? You know, it's a little hard to think about. Maybe all of this will still be here, but not me. Am I even here now? Over there is the North Star. North. I'm pointing to it. Can you see it? Oh, that's right. You're not here. But you will be for a little while yet. I don't know how long, nobody does. There's the Dipper. Big Bear, they call it. The two stars there point to the North Star, and so you know where north is. It's the pole star. The whole Earth spins around, but that star stays in the same place because it's way out there. The pole, the axis of the Earth, points to it, and so it stays there and everything else spins around. That's why the moon looks like it's rising in the sky. Waning crescent. The clouds scudding over the face of the moon. Bare branches, dark against all of it. The leaves have been blown down. It's fall, heading into winter, the end of the year. Everything's dying. Well, not really dying, because the earth lives a long time. It goes through the seasons. spring, summer, fall, winter. But the earth will end. The planet will end. The sun will end. And the universe will. I can't think that far away. I understand that it will just kind of become nothing. Maybe a little static. I don't know. It's too far away. The point of it all is I wouldn't be here. I mean, standing here in my garden, my bathrobe and slippers. It is the middle of the night after all. I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about, well, first it was the moon, and then it was Thea, and how she told me about Unus Annas, and I thought, well, I should make a video, but it's dark. You wouldn't be able to see me, and maybe you could listen to what I had to say. I'd tell you my story, this story about me and Thea and Toad. It all ends. Mark and Ethen will keep making their YouTubes, of course. They are gamers and they got other stuff going on, but Unus Annas is going to have its last video in a few days, and then they're going to delete it all. They talked about remembering death, Momento mori. It's a good thing to do. You can keep doing it even after their YouTubes are gone. It's a part I'll remember, is making every moment count. You can't do that, of course, but you can make some of them count. And then the question will be, what have you learned? What have you made? What did you discover of yourself? So, I'm coming now to the end. Really, the end of this spoken YouTube. The moon's still there. The clouds still scudding by across the face of a blue-black universe. Stars farther away than I can touch. This time it's going to be me at the end of this. And if you're listening, should it be just once? Should I then delete this bit of spoken nonsense? Let it be the end? Only a memory, perhaps? I'm going to be the wind now. Listen for a moment. It's all you're going to hear, and then I'll press stop. Unus Annas, Thea, Toad, Momento mori, and this is me.